I am back, and I'm very, very pleased to interview this young man. He's doing a lot of great good for the city. This is Mr. Ishmael Terry, and before I get to him, well, I could tell you, the great dentist, Livingston Family Dentistry. Everybody knows I'm for them, and they're my sponsor. But get your teeth done, people. Get your teeth done because they'll be here in a few weeks, and we're going to talk about back to school, and we're going to talk about everything because your teeth affect your whole body as far as your illnesses are concerned too, because if you have a bad tooth, especially an abscess, if you've ever had an abscess, besides swelling up your face, it's poisonous coming down into your system. Neither here nor there. Don't you agree?
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
Plus,
Miss.
ladies like to smile like the last show.
Oh yeah. Well, you want to smile. You don't want to. When you try. Hey, how you
Not my grandfather.
Right, Ishmael. You have the All for One program, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why don't you tell Well, you grew up here in Detroit.
Yeah, born and raised here.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Glazer Elementary School, and then I went to.
Where's that?
It's right there on Davison, right by Longfellow High School.
Longfellow High School.
Yes, ma'am. That's how old I am. It's over there by, right there south of Davison.
Uh-huh.
Yes, ma'am.
Longfellow has a high school.
They did a long time ago. A long time.
Davison near what? Between what?
Between the lodge. It's right off the Lodge Freeway.
Really?
Yes, ma'am. Over there where the Muslim Center and everything is.
Oh, I know where that is.
Yeah, where Detroit Repertory.
Yeah, I know
Yes,
where
ma'am.
that is.
Yes, ma'am. That's where I went to high school. I mean, the elementary school at over there.
Oh, okay.
And then I graduated from Northwestern High School.
The Big N.O.?
You got it.
Do, 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 do. I know about the Big N.O.
Yes, ma'am. And from there, I went to Alabama State for a semester or so.
Oh,
and then
I spoke
left.
there.
Oh, did you?
In their dining, well, I guess it could have been the dining hall, but it had a stage in it.
Okay.
Whatever it was, it had a stage,
in it.
but it
Well-
wasn't the auditorium.
Well, I decided that it wasn't a place for me because I was going into law. And so they explained to me that I was not going to be able to practice law in Michigan if I wanted to become an attorney out in Alabama.
Really?
So I ended up leaving Alabama, and I ended up playing basketball for Oakland Community College,
All right.
which led me out in Farmington Hill, Orchard Lake,
Right.
which led me to Eastern Michigan and playing basketball for them with
Oh.
Earl Boykins and Derek Dowell and a host of other characters.
Yeah.
Um,
That's I graduated from there. I got
okay, so we have something
couple
in
of
common.
degrees from there. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. They even got a I Am True EMU banner of me there. on
Really?
campus. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's nice.
ma'am.
Were you true EMU?
Yeah, I'm an Eagle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
When
wasn't-
I was there, it had
was a
the
Huron.
Indian Huron. It had the Indian name.
Oh,
It had the Indian name, and we didn't know. Hey, we didn't know
Well,
what
you
the
know,
heck.
hey, that you're an Eagle for life, and so we I had a good time there. I got a chance to see some important things. I didn't know at the time that south side of Ypsilanti or West Willow, as it's called, they had the same issues as Detroit did.
Absolutely.
And so-
Absolutely.
Three other friends of mine, we created, well, I thought of this organization that would be able to provide mentoring programs utilizing our basketball skills as a way to help the kids in that community.
And draw them in.
Guaranteed. So we had basketball camps, and then that led to mentoring programs as well. We had stayed out there till 2005, which then brought my service here to Detroit because then Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, who was a friend of mine on LaSalle, asked me to bring All for One here to Detroit. And from there, it's been here ever since. And we've been blossoming, to say the least.
Why don't you tell my audience exactly what you do?
We do everything from our Brightest Star program, which is our basically turnaround school project, where we go into schools and we turn around academically, socially, and actually.
How do you do
economically.
that, and how do schools invite you?
Well, we work through United Way of Southeastern Michigan. We also work through Skillman Foundation and other host of other organizations Also, we're partners with Wayne State University, University of Michigan Dearborn, and University of Michigan Ann Arbor, as well as Michigan State and other host of other universities. And we handle the retention problems. So what happens is that university or that high school contact us through their organizations, and we come in and utilize our behavioral subject programs or do a need assessment with the students, and we find out their weakest points and their strengths. And then we actually work on more of the weakest points, and then we actually kind of pull it apart.
So the schools tell you about or have a list of the at-risk
Correct.
kids.
Correct.
And do you have other people? Do you have educators associated with what you do?
We do. We actually have local organizations, small grassroots organizations, sometimes university students who come in who going into the Department of Education, and then they actually come in and they work with us as a volunteer.
Yeah, but I asked, do you have educators?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Educators.
ma'am. We do. We have teachers who come in who do
Oh,
volunteering time on a part-time basis
that's
to
what
come in.
I wanted to
Yeah.
know because there are a lot of people interested in coming into the classroom or doing this and
Right.
that. And the unfortunate thing in some of the schools, they have teachers who never, I mean, they were Teach for America people who never really taught, and they're in a school
Right.
telling kids how to work a computer.
Correct. Well, we've been fortunate with having teachers and even counselors who come
Oh, that's
into our
excellent.
organization, and actually we sit down there. I think we do like a 3 to 5 day program inside of those schools, and we work year round with the schools. So we actually like we did the turnaround school in 2013 with United Way. So we go into Cody APL, and
Oh,
we
okay.
actually worked with Jonathan Matthews, the principal of the school, and also DIT. And we actually just worked with the students. They gave us a listing of students that really have it bad socially and also educationally. So we actually work with that student. We actually do testimonials. We actually have a National Youth Leadership Council roundtable that we host where we have over 300 high school students from several school districts,
Now, these are males and
males
females?
and females. And also, when we had the National Youth Leadership Council roundtables, that actually bring out the opportunities for those universities who may not see fit by those students, see that they have the same resources as a school that's outside of
Absolutely.
state.
Because part of equality, period, is having a good education.
Yes, ma'am.
That is so important. And people sit up and they cry, cry, cry. But sometimes, like you go into some of these schools
Yes.
during parent teachers conference, where are the parents?
Right.
Where are the, and a lot of times you get the parents whose kids are doing real well.
I agree.
And where are these other parents?
What
And
if
then my kid can't find no job.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. Well, the parents, we've been fortunate as well as to have the parents come to our
That's
function,
good.
to our meetings with the students. They actually sit down. What we do is we pair the parent away from the student. So we put the student on one end and the parent on the other end, and we would be kind of like the mediator. So then the parent would actually hear what the student really has to say
And
because
really
they feel
thinks, really thinks.
and not have to worry about the sometimes the physical or the mental abuse that comes with the case that the student may have to lash out and feel what they feel and say what they have to say.
Don't you get situations where the parent doesn't, like my kids knew to go to school,
Right.
but certain people they don't push their kids to go to school, and the kids end up being truant,
Yeah,
not
well,
going.
yes, and the problem is this, and I always say this to educators like yourself. The problem is that education is probably like the number 5 thing on their list to do in most family dynamics here in the city of Detroit. Most of the times it's work, putting food on the table, keeping the lights on, and then that kid has to be the responsibility or the breadwinner for all of those dynamics. So also then become a parent itself, where they raising their younger
There are
sibling.
like 3 generations in a
Correct.
house, 2 or 3 generations in
Correct.
some homes.
So then now that kid who comes to us either been exposed in school, has been in physical confrontation with other students, or even been in rape situations. We've had women, young ladies in our program and young men who've been raped that come to our program, and we have to discuss that. And so what we do is we actually have a binder or a little notebook, and they write down what's going on, and that is their security blanket. It's like they make sure that they can put down all of the information. Now, it's not being used against whoever. This is just an opportunity for them to express themselves without being physically confrontational to anyone in that whole circle. So that means from the principal to the counselors to the teacher's assistant to organizations that may
So,
come in.
what age do you start working with these young people?
From middle school all the
Oh,
way up until
great.
high
I'm
school.
glad that you're
Yes, ma'am.
using middle school
Yes,
too,
ma'am.
because you just can't wait till these kids get to high school.
No, and sometimes we even have elementary schools
Well,
like
if
Noble who reached out to us actually to come in and work with their elementary students. And we started the same thing from an elementary standard that they have in the same functionalities as a high school student and sometimes as a college student. So it's kind of like you're molding a youth into the idea of where education standards are, but then economic standards are. So now they're catching on, and now they're building a better life for themselves because now they realize that it's not just an education, it's the stability of an idea, and that education is one of the major components, but livelihood or the quality of life is the major focus point. Because without the quality of life, you can't get an education, you can't get a job, you can't have stability, and you can't have a
there's so
foundation.
many environmental struggles
Yes, ma'am.
that they have where they cannot, unfortunately, concentrate.
Yes.
It's so many distractions.
Right.
And I'm glad that you have this program. I just see you being overwhelmed. Tell it. I mean,
Well,
seriously.
we've
That's
been in
what.
this for 10 years. And
Yes.
some people don't, as kind of middle-aged group, a middle-aged organization, and been around for 14, as far as myself personally, been
Right.
around people for 14 years politically and grassroots and all. All for One is a program that allows people to get the greatest ideas and bring them out of themselves. They get to use, we don't actually hoard in all of the information. We actually sit down with people and actually help them generate more programs. They can be a small church. We work with them. They can be a small organization. We work with them. Grassroots. Anybody that has an idea of where they want to go into helping young people or even helping seniors, because part of that, what we do as well, is that we're affordable healthcare counselors. So we sign people up for healthcare.
You heard him say seniors and point to me.
I did not point.
He did. He
I'm
pointed to
sorry.
me. I mean, that's okay. That's okay. I'm just saying. He said, seniors. He said,
Well, and what we do is, and also I'm
but
also a
that's
part of
all
my
right.
brother's
I'll be
keeper.
a senior.
Well, yeah, people would be like, accept what they are. I'm middle aged,
You're
and
not middle
I'm
aged. Come
43.
on. I was just middle aged the other day. Other day. Don't even tell me you're middle
Yeah,
aged.
43. But and but even with that, we're part of my brother's keeper initiative for the president of the United States, where we mentor young African American males.
POTUS.
So
I
yeah,
love him. Yeah, you mentor African American males, but
yes,
they're like females are in trouble also.
yes,
But I agree, the men are in trouble, and a lot of times the girls will go where the guys are going,
guaranteed.
and that's just the way it
Yeah,
is.
because now they pull up their pants when we're around. You don't get that half the time. Even when I see them on the street, they're like, Mr. Terry. Hey, Mr. Terry. Hey, Mr. Terry. I'll be like, how you doing? They be like, well, I just made it in this college. And thank you for helping me get in that college. So that is a way of saying the right steps are being
They're
made.
being taken.
Yes,
You all need to. Do you collect data?
we do. We do.
Okay, that's very, very important
Yes,
for
ma'am.
the functionality of your program to keep on to see the
Yes,
successes
ma'am.
and where you need to maybe work a little more and so
Guaranteed.
forth.
Yes, ma'am. We get data from both the school itself. We're lucky to have the principals on our side, so they give us all of the information
Well,
from
principals,
truancies and
they take all the help they could
I
get.
know, and
They
they
take
work really hard, and so we work hard with them. Um, it's always a battle when an organization like City Year and us are sitting in the same room, because then the principals of those schools want us to be City Year, and City Year wants to be All for One, but then we be like, well, you already have your niche into this, and we have our niche, And so we can actually work together. And we actually work it out. We actually figure out a game plan. We all sit at one table, and then boom, this is what you do, this is what we do. And then if we can, we piggyback or we jump off from one another. They have a student that they can't control or they can't get to their measures or their variables, they send it to us. And then we vice versa.
Oh, excellent,
Yes, ma'am.
excellent, because we really, really need organizations, but there's so many organizations,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
it just, I don't know, I just feel like not enough is being, well, not from you all. It's just we have to get, I think about the violence that occurred down in Greektown
Yes,
a
ma'am.
couple of weeks ago, and it was basically a 21-year-old or a teenager shooting another teenager and
Yes, ma'am.
killing this teenager.
Yes,
They
ma'am.
don't even get a chance to see that there's more to life. And
Yes.
that's the thing. It's about exposure and it's
Uh-huh.
more to life than
Well,
what they see.
well, that's because let's look at Detroit in a whole. From 2007 to probably about 2011, probably about like 30 recreation centers were closed.
Yeah.
Okay, and so because of that, where could you possibly go? And we'll be realistic with that. I worked in the recreation centers. In 2005 to 2007, I worked for Kwame Kilpatrick as the mayor when he was the mayor, and we dealt with the recreation departments.
I thought you said as the mayor. I
No,
said, so
no, no,
you're the
no,
one
no,
who's supposed to be. No,
no,
I'm just kidding.
mayor. It'll be a lot of things different, and it'll be different when 2024 come when I run for mayor.
You heard that here first, ladies and gentlemen.
The ideal of the recreation center closing, because sometimes that's the hub of that community. More at-risk youth and seniors and adults go to that center. So if that center is closed because you're told 30-mile radius is another center there, and we want you to travel from point A to point Z, you can't make it there. So
Right.
now that center is closed. Now that youth or that community has no place, nowhere to go. Do you know that at the O'Shea Recreation Building, when it was open on Plymouth and Greenfield, our organization was in there. We taught those young people and those seniors and middle-aged families how to do urban gardening. So all of this urban gardening that's going on place, it took place in 2005 to
Right. Well, when
2007.
people find out they could do other things,
Correct.
I mean, it's so many teens are so. I talk to a lot who want to be a rapper. They
That's
still want to be a rapper.
what
I
that's a
mean,
significant part of our
well,
community.
I know, but how many could be successful at being a rapper?
Probably about 3 out of 100. But
No
but
one,
but
one.
what we teach them though is that it's okay to be an attorney. It's okay to be a doctor. Why? Because we bring those people to them. See, what the problem is that they never come to them. What we do is talk at them. So now, when I bring Brenda Perryman to them to a roundtable discussion, she's talking to them about the real Brenda Perryman, taken away from the cameras, taken away from the lights, taken away from the show, bringing Brenda Perryman. So that young lady who wants to be Brenda Perryman is sitting right there in front of you. And what's the problem is that Brenda Perryman is not in her household or is not in her community. So when she's right there, when I bring her to her, now she like this, man, I'm going to surround myself with her. And she'll contact you every day. I've had more
Yeah,
people and
that's a
professionals.
great
Yes, ma'am.
thing. That is a great thing,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I have so many mentees out there. I can't even begin to tell you, but I'm always available.
Yes, ma'am.
Always, I stay available.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, time is up.
Yes.
I got to call it a day.
Yes, ma'am.
There was a song. Denise Williams saying, anyway, I can't think of what it was. If people want to contact your organization,
Yes, they can reach us at 313-442-3604, or that's 313-442-3604, or they can go to our website, which is www.allforone, that's ALLFOURONE, Detroit.org.
this is a great organization. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
And for coming on, and I want to have you back.
Thank
So
you.
maybe you could bring one of those kids
Yes, ma'am. And also, we want to say, please volunteer to be in our park renovation.
and a senior. He
Whatever.
pointed me again. Okay, middle age. All right, we'll see you in just a few minutes with Table Talk with Brenda Perryman. And boy, do we have some subjects. Thank you.